का भारत।
ये है भारत एफएम।
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत।
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one of its kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sfurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Connect for a Cause. Today, April 22nd, is observed as Earth Day, and many of us are familiar with concepts like reduce, reuse, and recycle. Our Mother Earth, that we refer as Mother, often, unfortunately, is overlooked and taken for granted. However, there are many champions in the world who are fighting for global warming, trying to spread awareness about various aspects of Mother Earth. And today, on Earth Day, we are very honored to have a special guest, Dr. Hall Murthy from Miami, Florida, here in USA. And he will talk about a very special venture, a unique venture that perhaps not many of us have ever thought about, that is building a monument for Mother Earth. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Murthy on our show today. Hello, Dr. Murthy. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you, Vijaya, for having this opportunity.
It is our pleasure and honor, Dr. Murthy, and Mrs. Murthy as well. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Vijaya.
We are so happy to hear about your Scope Foundation and about your unique views on Mother Earth. So we thought it is a great opportunity today on Earth Day to discuss this further and help our audience understand your views as well.
Sure. It will be my pleasure to share the concept, what we have been developing for quite a few years.
Yes.
And it will be my pleasure to share with them.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy.
Looking forward to some of the questions from them.
Definitely. So before we begin, I would like to just give a brief introduction of you, Dr. Murthy, to our audience, if you don't mind. So Dr. Murthy graduated from Mysore Medical School in India. He did his residency in England, Scotland, and Wales for 6 years between 1972 to 78, and postgraduate degrees, MRCGP and DCH. He worked as district medical officer in Newfoundland, Canada between 1978 to 1980. He worked as a teaching fellow in the Department of Family Medicine, University of Miami for a year, and then worked as a clinical assistant professor in family medicine, University of Miami. He's working as a family physician in a private practice presently in Kendall, which is in Florida. And he also started incorporating the integrative medicine in his office and practice. So we will talk a little bit more about all this with Dr. Murthy in a bit. Let us begin, if you don't mind, Dr. Murthy, with understanding a little more about Scope Foundation that you have founded. Could you kindly tell our viewers some more information about it? And here I would like to remind our viewers that you are welcome to send in your comments and questions to our esteemed guest for the evening through the comment box, whether it is on a Facebook stream or YouTube. And we will be happy to present these to Dr. Murthy. And as he mentioned just now, he will be happy to answer them as well. So please bring on your questions and let us proceed with our program.
Yeah. Thank you, Vijaya, for giving the opportunity. So I've been, as you mentioned, thank you for such a wonderful introduction about me. And basically, we started the Scope Foundation in 2006 with the intention of providing the education to small villages and small towns in rural India and, if possible, around the world. So when we were doing it, we were able to supply some of the computers and giving them the opportunity to learn about the information technology. But after a few years, we ran into some difficulties with the customs and other things. It became a hurdle. So we just discontinued that kind of a support, and we started only with the scholarship, financial help, and also to screen the children in schools for their visual acuity and provide the free glasses when they need it. After doing it for a few years, we realized there are two areas in life human beings requires more help. One when they are small before the age of 14, and the other one at the older age group where they have medical problems as well as the visual problems. The Scope Foundation was founded by our family and also funded by our family until 2019. And we decided to support the cataract screening for the elderly people and also provide the opportunity for them to have cataract surgery and lens implantation and the follow-up for a period of 3 months. If there is any complications, we would take care of it. Fortunately, there were no complications in all these years. So all of the funding we will provide, and also all the expenses were provided free of charge to thousands of people. That is how it started.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. So, would you please tell us how many years has it been in since it started? And as you mentioned, it was started by your family. At this point, I would also like to remind our audience that Dr. Murthy's son is our U.S. Surgeon General, and we are very proud of him, as well as I'm sure his parents are too. So, just wanted to mention that as well to our audience here. And if you don't mind letting us know how many years it's been in existence since, and also how far has it come in terms of the contributions that you've been doing? Is it mainly in India then, your focus?
Yeah, majority of the help has been provided in India. Some of the financial help I have given in Nicaraguan schools, Jamaican schools, and also in United States. And we also support some of the feeding banks and homeless shelters and other things. And in addition to that, we would be embarking upon building the monument. This thought came only in 2019. The reason it came into forefront, I do practice what we call as a integrative medicine. And in United States, of course, all around the world, even in India, younger generation having a lot more stress and a lot more medical issues in these days. When I started the private practice, so I realized there are a lot of patients coming with multiple physical pains, physical problems. But if you really spend some time understanding their physical issues and explore just beyond their physical symptoms presentation, you go into their personal life and then the family life and the professional life. When we do that, you would really see the ocean of the problem, which is really sprouting at an emotional level. When the emotions are causing the problem, I realized, I think the source of the problem is the emotion, but the presenting problem is the physical problem. Then I realized, as an allopathic physician, the only thing we have to provide services for the emotional issues is medications, tranquilizers or anxiolytics or antidepressants, and all of them are addictive medications. Me being a physician, I thought, I do have the license to prescribe these medications, but I'm really feeling not very comfortable because I felt if this is the only options I have, we will be creating an addictive society. So I have the license to create addictive society. So I thought, there must be other alternative methodology to approach this problem of emotional distress in the individual. So I went and learned some of the alternative therapies, which I have been implementing it for last 25 years in my medical practice. Because of that, I was able to reduce my prescription medication for any narcotic or a controlled substance by 95%.
Wow.
And I feel very good because I did not create an addictive society. And also, I learned a lot the power of emotions over the physical body. Okay, that is this one. I would describe to you later on
Sure.
how did I implement these other alternative methodology for different category of patients, and what I found during this implementation, and then how the Mother Earth spiritual energy was being made aware of to me.
That's wonderful to hear, Dr. Murthy. I mean, a very unique perspective. It is amazing to know that you thought about this further, that a doctor can provide more than just medicines for the patients. And you were able to go with that idea and successfully implement it in society for so many years. That is wonderful to hear. We would definitely love to hear more about the alternative methods. And you touched upon a little bit on building monument for Mother Earth. Would you kindly let us know about how that idea came upon and what exactly are you doing here?
Okay, that is a very good question. During this process of implementing the alternative therapies for patients, especially if there is any emotional component to the physical symptoms, I created a program called DLSA, Daily Lifestyle Activity. The emphasis in that was to devote ourselves 1 hour every day before we start our routine work. When we devote that 1 hour, it is for us as an individuals at the level of the physical body and also at the level of the mind. Lot of us will not do any exercise. Majority of the people do not do any physical exercise unless there is a problem or a demand on their body. Those who does it on a regular basis, they do it for the physical body, but not for the mind. Whatever the overflow of the benefit from the physical body by producing the endorphins, okay, that will be the benefit we feel at the mind, feel relaxed and enjoyed. But there is other component to this relaxation of the mind. What I call it is an active relaxation. When we do the active relaxation, you concentrate mainly on the mind and doing certain exercises for the mind, which really helps to unclog the clutter what we have been accumulating over the period of days or weeks or months, and also induce the sense of relaxation in the mind biochemically as well as electroencephalogram brain waves wise, all of that plus endorphins. So this methodology I was able to implement that. During that process, in the active relaxation of the mind, the concentration of the person is very important on something very positive, and also it should be infinite in its resources. Being a physician, I did not want to go into the religious side or a faith side. I decided to go on making them visualize the Mother Earth. I would describe the energy of the Mother Earth, generosity of the Mother Earth, and also I would describe to them how many years she has been working so hard to keep all of us very safe for 3.5 billion years. Because of that energy what we have, when they concentrated on the Mother Earth and visualized it, I have a technique to measure the physical energy of the person by using their one of the arms, and then that would tell us what was their energy before they meditated, and then what is their energy after they have completed the meditation for 5 minutes or 10 minutes duration. Always in 25 years, I'm very happy to say, not even one person was able to show any decline in the energy compared to the baseline. So that made me aware that Mother Earth has not only has a material, a treasure, she also has a spiritual treasure to energize us in a spiritual manner. Having that curiosity, I compared the same energy accentuation by asking him to do certain other methods of meditation, concentrating on their faith, and it is exactly was the same. So then I felt Mother Earth is giving us everything what we have, but we are only looking at the Mother Earth as a supplier of the materials, but we never looked at her as a supplier of the spiritual health. So that is when I started comparing the Mother Earth.
That's wonderful description. Thank you so much, Dr. Murthy. At this point, would you mind telling a little bit about the difference between spirituality and religion for some of the audience members who may be not so clear about this concept?
It is a very profound subject and also a very debatable subject.
Correct.
I will tell you what I understand
Sure.
the spirituality.
Sure.
For me, the spirituality is certain practices what we do for the mind and also for the body. And it has no barriers. For example, in the religious side, we have the barriers. So I'm this, I belong to this group, I belong to the other group, I belong to the X group and a Y group. Here, if I do the spiritual practices like the meditation, the biochemical changes, the brain wave changes, what happens will be the same in me and somebody from South Africa or South America or Africa or Europe, anywhere. It is a human physiological response. There are no barriers to the benefit of the spiritual practices through the active relaxation of the mind. Whereas in the other area, we have certain restrictions. We have to follow the same methodologies. We have to follow the certain rigid methodology of practices. We do not have that. One person can do the meditation, visualizing. One person can do the meditation by looking at something very positive and very pleasant in the nature. So these are all the methodologies. In addition to that, they also do the breathing exercise, for example. So breathing exercise, what we call it is a pranayama. Prana means life. Yama means exercise. Exercise for the life. If we do not drink, for example, even for few days, or you did not eat for few days, still we are assured to be alive. But if you did not breathe even for more than a minute, we will not be able to say that we will be still alive. So breath is a very important part of life, and it is also very powerful, not only in the way it supplies the oxygen to saturate our red blood cells, but also it helps in energizing the endocrine organs in our system. For example, as soon as we inhale the air through the nostrils, the increase in force and the turbulence in the nostril goes into the maxillary sinus. This is the air cavity. The maxillary sinus, just above that is a sphenoid sinus. I'm sorry, I don't have the PowerPoint option here, so I cannot really show, but hopefully it is easy to visualize.
Yeah.
So this sinus and this another sinus just above that, because of the air turbulence and the force, any organ around that gets stimulated, get vibrated. Fortunately, we have a very important endocrine gland called pituitary gland. It is sitting just above the sphenoid sinus. Because of the air turbulence, that gets stimulated, and that is actually the king of all endocrine glands. It controls your thyroid gland, it controls your adrenal glands, it controls your pancreas, and all these stress organs, it controls it. Because of that, early in the morning, before we start our work, you stimulate the king of the endocrine gland, you stimulate the body through the physical exercise, create the endorphins. By doing that, you are energizing the body and energizing the mind. It is like, when you do the active relaxation of the mind, I say, it is like making a cake, and this is like putting a icing on the cake. It looks so beautiful.
That is a wonderful way of explaining, and coming from you means a lot, Dr. Murthy, because with your scientific background, medical background, and still you are able to define these spiritual concepts or explain them so well. And being a yoga teacher myself, I understand how important breath is, and breath control, as you mentioned in pranayama, it is. So it was fascinating to hear your explanation on it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Now, going back to Scope Foundation, I would like to know from you, what is your vision for its future and further growth? And you did explain about the amazing projects that you have undertaken so far. So what other plans do you have in the future? How are you planning for its growth and future projects?
Okay. Thank you for that question.
Sure.
During this process of active relaxation in the mind, asking the patients or the persons to visualize on the Mother Earth and also the other planetary systems, and having appreciated the energy increase and also sense of relaxation at the mind level. So I was thinking, we have millions of temples, millions of synagogues, millions of mosques, millions of churches. But having such a profound energy of the Mother Earth, which is a very spiritual energy, and it is given to every human being, every living organisms on the mother planet uniformly, there without any discrimination, without any barriers and boundaries. But we do not have one single monument in her name to honor her, as well as to respect and express our gratitude to the Mother Earth. I thought, even though we say we want to save global warming, we want to make sure we do not exhaust our water resources, we do not exhaust our mineral resources. All of that is very good and very essential. But what is more important is, as I said, the emotions are much more important than the materials. If you do not have the emotional tranquility in the mind level, the body will crumble. If it does not crumble, at least it will not have the same effectiveness as we have it when we have an emotional comfort zone. So because of that, I decided we need to have a monument for the Mother Earth as a respect and also as an expression of gratitude, and it will be built by the humanity from around the world. It does not belong to a group or a country or a person. It belongs to all of us. Whether they contributed anything, whether they did not contribute anything, I only ask them, wish the best of luck to the monument of the Mother Earth. That is what I'm asking.
That is wonderful to hear. At this time, I would like to share one video that Dr. Murthy has sent, and this is about a rotating Earth video. If you would like to describe a little bit more about this while the video is being played, Dr. Murthy, that would be wonderful.
Sure. So
Just give it a moment. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So when we see this beautiful Mother Earth rotating, and it is so beautiful. One of the differences between our Mother Earth and other planets, when you come closer to the Mother Earth from the space, as you come closer and closer, she looks more beautiful and more beautiful, more beautiful. We have the oceans, we have the trees, we have the, all the resources and other things. Compared to the other planets, if you go closer to the Mars or closer to Venus, closer to Jupiter, it is all barren. So that is one aspect. The second aspect is she also works very hard. Even though we have not recognized her struggle to keep the humanity and the life on Earth so safe, she travels among the big planet systems in our solar system. Of course, Sun is the biggest star in our solar system, and he occupies 95+% of the space in the solar system, and he regulates the orbit. He regulates the orbit so to go around in an organized way. So one thing I realized when I was looking at the orbit, all these the planets in our orbital system are so powerful, but it is amazing to see for billions of years they have been cooperating with each other without bombarding one or the other. Just because I'm strong, I don't have the license or I don't have the ability. Even though I have the ability, we should not be thinking about harming somebody weaker. So that is one thing I realize. And the second thing is the Mother Earth also travels at 67,000 miles an hour. Okay, we may not be feeling it, but by the time we finish, we have traveled 67,000 miles all around the solar system orbit. In addition to that, she is the only planet who rotates while she is traveling at 1,000 miles an hour, so that we will get the sunlight on all aspects of the Mother Earth, not just on one side of the Mother Earth. For example, when you see the moon, you will see the same surface all the time. Moon does not move. So in addition to that, it follows the orbit in an organized way, and the sun being the main star of our solar system, he also travels at 450,000 miles an hour. And to go one round around our Milky Way, okay, he takes 230 million years. So you can imagine how big is our
Right.
Milky Way, and our solar system is one of the smallest ones. There are more than 500 of them, which we do not know. But only one important thing here is our Mother Earth is the only one able to support a life and provide everything before we come on the earth. Now, the minute we are born, we have the air, we have the food, we have the water, we have the comfortable atmosphere, everything made ready for us. No other planet in the universe yet we have found one of that. That makes us feel she is very unique, she is very precious. For example, just as you said, my son is a civil surgeon general. It makes me feel proud.
Correct.
A lot of people, well-wishers, feel proud. But this planet is the only planet we have, and such a unique planet we have. We should feel very proud and have the enthusiasm and dedication to preserve it, not only from the material point of view, but also from the spiritual point of view, appreciate it.
How true, Dr. Murthy. That definitely, your words are very meaningful, and I agree with what you're saying. Many times we take mothers for granted, whether it is mothers in our world here or Mother Earth. But it is our duty and responsibility to take good care of them and honor them. So this is a very unique way of looking at things, and just hearing about the amazing aspects and features of Earth as a planet and in the universe and in the solar system. It is wonderful to hear about this. So that makes a lot of sense. And thank you for explaining a little bit more about the video. And would you like to explain a little bit more about the spiritual aspects of Mother Earth, and how you were mentioning about how you have seen improvements in patients when you use this alternative treatment, and especially where you're talking about spiritual connection with Mother Earth. That is something very interesting for us. If you can explain a little bit more about that, please.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So during the integrative medicine, according to the American Academy of the Family Physician statistics, 80% of the problems present in primary care doctor's office are related to the emotional issues. 80%. And only 20% actually is physical issues. So when we have such a big percentage or a contributing factor as emotions, implementing this active relaxation of the mind. Before we implement the active relaxation of the mind, to everybody would not work in the same level. So we need to analyze what degree of the emotional issue is connected with the patient, and what percentage of that emotional issue is really related to this physical symptom. There's a methodology to analyze it. When we analyze it, we can actually ask the person to select one or two areas of their life which is very stressful. Let me give you one example. Let us say somebody came with a pain in the ankle. This is actually a Brazilian person with a little injury to her leg, came with the pain after 1 year because she could not tolerate any pain. After exhausting all the regular methodology of CT scans and steroid injections, anti-inflammatory and all of that, her pain, if you say 10 was the highest pain, her pain was reduced by only by 20% with all of that medication. Then having aware of the emotional impact on the physical pain, I did ask her, do you want me to inject the steroids locally? So she knew about the alternative medicine I do. She asked me, because I treated her husband, she asked me to go ahead and give the alternative therapy for her. Because of the injury, I was not thinking along that line. So I did analyze her. I asked her to think about two areas of her life, what is very stressful to her. After she selected number one and number two, we can actually see the rhythm of the body and see which one is the worse than the other. From her perception, number one is the worst, number two is the second one, next worst. But from the body rhythm point of view, number two was the worst one, number two is the second one. So I gave the treatment of the relaxation for her, desensitizing her, number two. Number two was she was worried about her daughter who is dating somebody who has a 5-year-old kid, and she was worried if she did not work out with the relationship, she will be more hurt not only from the boyfriend point of view, but also from the child point of view. That was her. She thought that there is a second stress. The first stress was her brother-in-law is working with her for 10 years, 15 years on her salary, on her pay scale, but he has not learned the methodology to do the business in the United States. She has to keep him on a payroll. She cannot discuss that with her husband because it will be a war zone. So she has been swallowing this discontent for years and years. So that is what her perception of the number one. After giving the treatment, making her to focus on the stress number two, and then within the first treatment that took me about 1 hour, her pain was reduced by 80%. So this is an example I would like to bring it to all of you. The power of mind and the way it cries is by producing the physical pain, because otherwise, we take it for granted. Let us keep on pushing it. It will take it forever, but at the time, when it cannot tolerate anymore, it really produces the physical pain, and that is when they reach the physician. Unfortunately, most of us trained to deal with the physical pain in a physical manner. But we have to go beyond the physical symptoms to be able to do that. By doing this to this lady, I was able to reduce long-term treatment. Probably she would take the narcotic for another 50 years. She is only 52 years of age. So she did not have to take that. And at the same time, she was made to aware her emotions need to be under control. The only way she can keep them under control to induce herself to do the active relaxation of the mind. If she does not do that, sitting in the corner and drinking alcohol, saying, I'm relaxed or watching television, that would not cleanse the mind at all.
Yeah, this is such an important aspect, actually, that many of us, especially those living in the Western world, fail to understand. And perhaps they do not have the background as some of us Asians probably have that advantage that we come from a background or a culture where we speak about mind, we speak about spiritual practices. And so this is perhaps more easily understood by Indians or Asians. Did you feel that experience as well during your practice? Has it been a challenge for you to maybe make your patients more aware of this and understand there are alternative methods that you could help them with, Dr. Murthy?
Yeah. Yes, that is true. That is a very good observation, Vijaya. Uh, Indians, because of the cultural background what we have, when you discuss the spirituality and the aspect of spirituality and the practice of spirituality, it is very easy for them to comprehend. But unfortunately, today, in India, the younger generation, especially the IT, information technology professionals, are under so much of stress. We see in India 30 years and 40-year-old people getting a heart attack, having a high blood pressure, having a sleep problem. It is immensely increasing in India also. Even though we have the knowledge, we have the resources, but unless you practice it, it is very difficult to perceive the benefit. So that is what we have to do. Especially when they come over here, they work very hard and they handle 2 or 3 jobs. Many of them are equally challenging, and that really gives very little time for them to really create a sense of relaxation. So my emphasis here is, no matter how busy we are, if we devote at least 1 hour of our time, okay, you would really achieve a lot more things in the long run without any failure, without any pain or reduction in your productivity. And most of these simple policies or principles has been given to the executive people. These are the individuals, they work very hard. They have 500 people to do the administration. One of my patients had 5,000 people.
Wow.
Okay. So you would go to, what do you call it, Zambia copper belt, and he would have so much of stress. After, in fact, he had a chest pain. I was able to manage it through the phone and other things. Fortunately, everything went well. After giving him this principle of 1 hour for him, rest for others, so he never had any problem, because every time he goes to the executive meetings, he has to make millions and millions of dollars of decision in the executive committee meeting there in the internationally, and he would be worried about whether he is making a bad decision or a good decision. But all of that, the stress went away with this energy what he is creating within himself.
That is good to hear, especially these specific examples that you're giving. Many of us and audience members, I'm sure, can relate to these, especially the situations or the stressful daily routine that they have. And your solution seems very practical and very quite proven from the cases that you have studied as well as helped out your patients. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Murthy. We also heard that you do give talks about intricacies of body and mind connection, and you've been doing that for the past 25 years. I believe some of the aspects you've already covered now so far. And is there anything else that you would like to provide as insights for our audience today?
Yeah, I have so many examples to share.
Sure.
The basic principle is the same, but the way it is presenting in the physical body is totally different. I've been in practice for so many decades, but still I tell my patients, I have seen many deceptive presentations of the physical illness, okay, through physical organs like appendicitis or a heart attack. So it may be very straightforward symptoms, it may be very deceptive symptoms. We can actually recognize it at least 99% of the time. But I'll also tell them the way the stress can be manifested on the physical body have not seen all of them. Just to give one example, so there was one, actually an Indian lady. She was in a very good job, federal job. She has to leave the job and then came over to Miami to stay with her daughter to support her. Because she was giving that particular job and coming here, even though as a mother she is very committed to that, she was not sure she was doing the right thing or not. And then, halfway through, they were driving down here. She developed rashes, almost about 2 to 3 inches, big blotch of red rashes all over her body. So when she arrived in Miami, she went to the urgent care. So they were given steroids, which is normally a routine common treatment. So then, after taking it, nothing happened to her. Still, she had the rashes and itching and other things. While she is coming, she also heard her mother in India had a stroke and she may not be able to survive. So those two stresses really was very high, and she did not know why she developed the rash. She was given the steroid and nothing happened. After about 3 days or 4 days of trying, she came and I saw the blotches, all over the body, 2 inches to 3 inches size, red rash. And after looking into the story, I thought, this is a physical presentation due to the emotional upheaval. So what I did for her, relaxation treatment, because of the stress was so intense, I did give her anxiolytic to reduce her distress. In 48 hours, all her rashes were gone. So I'm giving this example just to show how powerful the mind and the distress of the mind is. And it can present in so many variable ways. I can give you hundreds of examples like this, but basic take-home message I feel for the audience here, we need to devote ourselves 1 hour of the time for the physical body and more importantly for the mind without any fail. Many of the executives, they tell me, Doctor, no, I don't have any time, which is true. So my only question I would ask them is, what time do you need to go to work? Oh, I need to be there at 8 o'clock, doctor. If your boss tells you you need to be there at 7 o'clock, what would you do? I have to get up early, doctor. If you are going to do 1 hour early for your boss, and you don't think you are more important than your boss, so you can do the same thing. So that way, the argument was not there. So, but also I used to implement it to my patients. If they agree to come on board to do this, if they miss any particular day, I would impose a fine, $5 or $10 fine. I would ask them to keep a count and then give the $5 or $10. I will ask them to write the check for the total amount to the charity of their choice. But we will mail the check to that particular address. That's what we were doing. So nowadays I don't do that. But because that policy, a lot of people got a lot of benefit out of it.
Right. And that's such a wonderful concept. I mean, very interesting the way you have implemented it. So I'm sure, either way, there was a benefit, either to a charity of their choice or to the patient. So that is wonderful that you thought about it. Looks like you are full of unique ideas, Dr. Murthy.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. So now you did mention about spiritual connection. So you had shared with us a couple of chanting audio files. So let me see if we can play those for our audience, and perhaps you can explain a little bit more about those.
So while we are doing that, this is
Sure.
the one. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Now, when you start, I will stop whatever I'm describing.
Sure.
Just
No problem.
So the chanting, for example, Navagraha chanting, all the planet system, when we do the worshipping, we usually chant the names of the planets. Names of the planets we chant. But one of the things what I realized, so we have the chanting of the Navagrahas starting from sun. Okay, this is how traditionally it goes. Suryaya, Chandraya, Mangalaya, Budaya cha, Guru Shukra, Shanibhyascha, Rahuve, Ketuve, Namaha. So start from Surya, but in that Navagraha chanting, there is no mention of the Mother Earth. I said, we live on the Mother Earth. We have been living and enjoying for billions of years. But how could we not include the Mother Earth in the chanting of the Navagrahas? So I added the word Bhudevi. I know your name is Bhudevi, Vijay.
Right, yes. So our audience don't know about it, but Dr. Murthy knows a secret. So that my birth name is Bhudevi. So, and also we named our daughter as Avani, which is also Earth. So we love Mother Earth. Thank you for bringing that up, Dr. Murthy.
You selected a very good day. Today is the Mother Earth Day.
Correct.
And organized by Bhudevi. And we are talking about Bhudevi. And, it is very unique, So thank you for thinking along that time.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor, Dr. Murthy.
So I request the temples and also the individuals and ritualistic practices to practice Sri Bhudevi Suryaya Chandraya Mangalaya Budaya cha Guru Shukra Shanibhyascha Rahuve Ketuve Vishwave Namaha. We start with Bhudevi chanting and then we end with the Vishwa. Vishwa means the universe. Without the cooperation of the universe, our planet cannot survive. And without expressing the gratitude to our planet, and we will not be able to be happy either. So we need to respect all the planets, starting from our Mother Earth, and then the universe. So that is the chanting.
Yeah, let me try and play that audio file so our audience member understand that a little bit more.
सूर्याय भूमात नमः भूदेवी 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 नमः भूदेवी भूदेवी नमः भूदेवी भूदेवी नमः भूमात 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 नमः भूमात 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 नमः भूमात सूर्याय चन्द्राय नमः भूमात सूर्याय चन्द्राय नमः
That was a beautiful chanting. I hope it was clearly audible to everybody. And I did hear the word of Bhudevi mentioned many times there. So that was very beautiful, Dr. Murthy.
This is the prayers. We can actually, this can be, if people do not have the, patience to stand, sit down and then visualize, they can chant. So they can chant the whole, the planetary systems in our solar system, chanting the names. These are all real ones. It is not a faith-based. It is not anything, religious-based.
Religious, yeah.
This is science. And we have the planets. We know the planets are cooperating with our Mother Earth. And our Mother Earth is working very hard. We know that. All through the science, we know all that information. And because she is giving everything, what all we have has come from the Mother Earth and from the cooperation of the Sun and the other planetary system in our solar system. If we just visualize and express our gratitude, that itself is enough to give us the sense of relaxation. In fact, in New York, they did a study actually, collecting the addicted patients with a lot of chronic pain. They divided the group. One group, they sent them to crack cocaine babies, neonatal care, NICU. Another group, they sent them to the homeless shelters. After about 4 hours of them serving there in that place, their pain medication was reduced by 35%. And also they selected the same group, sent them to different family members, distant family members whom they knew, to help them. But the effect was not there. The The conclusion was, when you provide the service without any expectation in return, you have a sense of relaxation. And that sense of relaxation, emotional relaxation, takes away the physical discomfort in so many ways. This one. So now, with coming back to our solar system, we know what all the benefits we are getting from our solar system. You don't have to believe in anything except the facts and the figures of the science. And if you just concentrate on the Mother Earth and the other planets and appreciate a sense of appreciation, will really help us to relax much more.
Correct. Very, very fascinating, very interesting. And also just hearing about the different cases that you've treated and the improvements that has happened, it is very believable for everybody and it is practical. So many of these concepts may seem different or distant to some of the audience members, but just listening to the improvements that you have seen with your patients, and especially coming from you who is having a scientific medical background, makes a lot of sense to us, Dr. Murthy. So thank you so much for sharing that. Would you like me to play the other audio as well, the English chanting? So if there's
Yeah,
anything
English
else
chanting of the Navagrahas. Yes,
you
please.
would like to add to that, okay, perfect. I will go ahead and play that.
It is in English.
Yes, if you'd like to explain it, you can explain it. It is playing in a minute.
Yeah.
Om. The earth and the sun, the moon and Mars, and Mercury and Jupiter and Venus and Saturn, Neptune and Pluto and the universe. Earth and the sun and the moon, moon and the sun and the earth and the sun and the moon, earth and the sun, the moon, the sun, the earth and the moon and the sun.
Thank you,
That,
Vijay.
that was beautiful. And even the voice of the singer is also very soothing. And the words are so simple that even children could learn it and, chant it. I think that will kind of help them think about these different elements in our universe and also get a connection, as you're mentioning.
Yeah. I think, my vision and the dream, and hopefully it will happen during my lifetime, is to make the children around the world to chant the Navagraha chanting on a daily basis, be in the school, just like now we have Pledge of Allegiance or a national anthem and other things that helps the unity, but helps the unity of the humanity in a very limited way. Here, we do not have any access to have a sense of unity at a global level. And the way it is going, I think it is very important for us to really impart the sense of global unity. We don't need to wait to have a global unity to find some other planet has a life and they may be threatening us. So then we all will be united. But we don't need to wait for that. We can actually have a sense of unity and enjoy the pleasure of being comradeship we have here without being threatened by somebody else for the fear. So that is it. So my feeling is, this chanting should be implemented in every school around the world. Hopefully, we will see what will happen.
Yeah, but I hope your vision is realized one day, sooner than later, so you can definitely see it in your lifetime. I would really hope for that, and it is definitely a great concept when many of us in this world are thinking about Mother Earth or our planet. We don't think about it along these lines. So what you're presenting here today in our program is very different, but very simple to understand and also very practical to follow. So thank you, Dr. Murthy, for sharing that. Now, we would like to go ahead and share a few more of your videos that you sent us for the wonderful contributions that Scope Foundation is doing in the society. So if that's okay, to go
Yeah,
ahead and share now.
please.
Okay. And meanwhile, if you would like to just remind our audience members a little bit, in some of them join later in the program, about the Scope Foundation's work that you are doing in India.
Oh, okay. So Scope Foundation stands for Society of Children of Planet Earth. So as I said before, so we started this organization to help the children in small towns and the villages with their education. In fact, education is the backbone of success. We all are here enjoying and also not having the dependency on anybody else or a fear of so many things because of our educational strength. And many children around the world, including India, especially in small towns and villages, they do not have that accessibility. So, with this vision of supporting as much as possible, we started that. But during that time, we found out there are a lot more things, can be done. And we did that for about a few years, and we will continue to do that. Continue to screen the children's eyes and scholarships and other things, and also continue the cataract surgery for the elderly people. We will continue, even though despite the monument has taken a major role right now because of the physical work what it is involved. So, but we will be building the monument. In addition to that, these two activities, what we have been doing, will be continued to be done.
That is great, Dr. Murthy. For some reason, the videos are taking time to play. However, we would like to go ahead and invite Mrs. Murthy to join our conversation, if that is okay for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Vijaya.
Screen.
Welcome, Mrs. Murthy. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Vijaya, for having me on.
It is our pleasure, definitely. Sorry about the slight technical difficulty there. And we had a little bit of a pause and interference there. However, we are very happy to see you on screen. Welcome to the program once again. And we would love to hear about your role in Scope Foundation. We know you are actively participating and contributing to the work that Scope Foundation is doing.
Most of my work, Vijaya, for all the projects that Dr. Murthy has been doing is in the background. So he's the front end and the physical face of all the projects. I help him out in whatever way he that is required, just like I support the kids, and I supported both my kids all through their college and school lives in the background. So my work, I help him out in, either the computer stuff or going physically for the eye camp or basically whichever area that he wants help.
Without grumbling.
well, Mrs. Murthy, we are thrilled to have you. And also, I just feel listening to what both of you are saying, you are the backbone for everything that's going very well in Dr. Murthy's life and, the contributions of Scope Foundations. So it's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you.
And while we were interrupted a little bit with technical difficulty, I could not introduce you formally to our audience. So I would like to take just a moment to introduce Mrs. Murthy. Mrs. Murthy graduated from Manasa Gangotri, Mysore, India, and with a master's degree in English literature. She was born and brought up in Bangalore, India, but lived in UK and Newfoundland before coming to Miami. In Miami, she manages her husband's medical practice. Mrs. Murthy is also a licensed real estate broker in Miami, Florida. Maitri Murthy. Her interests include meditation, yoga, and gardening. And looks like you have your hands full with 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and a few pets there.
Not to mention my mother.
Oh, your mother's there too. That okay. That's wonderful to know that your mother is with you as well. And so you have a busy life. So how do you both of you find time to work for the community, especially through Scope Foundation now?
Well, he inspires me to do that. And it is a way of giving back to society. And several people in the family, like my grandmother, my mother, and great grandfather, they're all involved in doing things like this. That inspired us. And also, I come from a background where spirituality was very much emphasized. And as kids, we were always, put on that path and constantly reminded of what we should do, what we should look for. And, you are familiar with all the good lessons that you're taught like that. So it's not difficult for me to pick up and do what he's doing.
That's wonderful to hear. Yes, I agree with the background that we come from. We do have that, but in today's world, everybody's so busy they don't think about it the way you are explaining. So it is wonderful to know that you are actually dedicating the time to give back to the community, and establishing this foundation is a sure shot way of being committed to giving back as well. So that's a great way of showing us also how to give back to the community. And today, especially being Earth Day and talking about Mother Earth, how much your foundation is working towards making a difference to humanity as well as to our planet. This is wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mrs. Murthy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So at this point of time, I would like to open it up to you if there is anything else you would like to share with our audience before we conclude the program. We are unfortunately unable to play the videos right now. For some reason, they are not playing. However, I would like to mention to our audience that Scope Foundation has a beautiful website, scopefoundation.org. Please do visit it. You will see this beautiful pictures of the vision that Dr. Murthy was talking about. And also, you will get to read a lot more information about the Scope Foundation. And hopefully, someday soon, you will be able to integrate these videos that we were not able to play here on your website, if it is not already done so. So people can actually do just a click and watch those videos there as well, Dr. Murthy. So please do visit, audience members, please do visit scopefoundation.org. And I will let Dr. Murthy speak now. Please go ahead and share any other information that you would like to share about your wonderful work.
Thank you. So the video, one of the video where the school children expressing their satisfaction with the services and other things, and also the villagers expressing, it is all there on the website. They can listen to that.
Okay.
That is one. The second thing is, I would like to briefly explain to them the concept of the monument. So if you go on scopefoundation.org website, so it is amalgamation of the global architecture and also amalgamation of humanitarians who served the humanity for centuries from around the world without any barriers. But in the center, it is going to be a Mother Earth statue, the way you saw on the picture here, and also you see in the space. So the blue planet with all the markings of the landmass and other things will be carved out of granite stone, single stone. So the stone, the rock, before we carve it, it will be weighing about 100 tons. And after we finish the carving, it will be 60 tons. It will weigh 60 tons. And on the eastern side of the wall, so we will have the eastern architecture and also the humanitarians who served that particular part of the world, their statues will be installed. At the entrance, we will have the 6 feet high, 2 statues on the eastern entrance, Shiva statue and also Lord Vishnu statue. And all the humanitarian statues will be 3 feet high. With the frame, it will be 5 feet. So all of these statues, total of about 64 3 feet high statues, and 8 of the entrance statues will be carved out of the granite or the marble stones. So that is the one aspect. On the western side, we will have the Greek or the Roman architecture. So the same way we have the Jesus, and also we have Virgin Mary from Guadalupe, carved again in the marble, and also the humanitarians we have. On the northern side, it is going to be Central Asian or Thailand architecture, and we will have Lord Buddha on one side and Lord Mahavir on the another side, and the humanitarians. And on the southern side, we will have the symbol of Star David, and also a symbol of crescent moon with the star. So we will have that. In addition to that, so all the spiritual practices are going to be in the center, will be conducted. And because of the stress what we are seeing here, we offer the opportunity for the people who wants to take a vacation or a break away from their busy life, to provide them an opportunity for spiritual vacation or a breakaway from the weekend. Oh, this is a beautiful picture what you
Yes, we were able to pull it up for you, for the audience members. So here we see these beautiful pictures on Scope Foundation website that Dr. Murthy was just explaining. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So we will be doing that, and all the spiritual practices and the spiritual vacation for the weekend or for the week, they would be able to stay there and get the sattvic food and also practices it. In addition to that, the meditation, pranayama, and also the yoga exercise, the introspection, and also reading of the global scriptures. You know, when you read the scriptures, we have been divided. Okay, you belong to this particular faith or a religion, you need to read only that. We will have the amalgamation of all the scriptures from around the world, so that way, people can read whatever they enjoy, and also whatever the treasure, what the writings shows from all the saints, and also all the humanitarians from around the world. In fact, humanitarian, they came and served the humanity without any barriers. Unfortunately, the followers after that, they compartmentalized those policies and the principles of practice, and they made them as a group. That is what really happened. We need to go back and take our freedom without being entangled or enclosed in a cave like this. That is what our dream is. So that is the spiritual practices. Some people do ask me the question, why do you want to build a monument? I want to build a monument with the help of the humanity around the world. The emphasis here is unity of humanity through science of spirituality. When we show this spiritual practices is a science-based practice, not a mystical practice or a faith-based practice. So the younger generation, it is very easy for them to accept it and practice it. That is the one thing. In addition to that, you will have the landscape, which is the trees and the plants capable of growing in that particular part of the world, from around the world, from Brazil, from Mexico, from Peru, from African subcontinent, and all of those things, from the United States. And we will be able to grow, and we will write the history of each tree, where it came from. So that way, when people visit this monument, they will have the education about the humanitarians, they have the education about the Mother Earth primarily, then the education about the plantations and the plants and the trees from around the world. In addition to that, and more importantly, all the spiritual practices and opportunity for them to enjoy their freedom without any barriers.
That's wonderful. It seems like a dream, actually. But the way you are explaining everything, it seems like a different world. However, looks like you are on the right track to making it happen. So since we have these pictures, if you can quickly tell us which.
Okay, this is the western wall.
Yes.
So you will see the Jesus, the way it is from Rio, and also the Virgin Mary, the Guadalupe. And then the next picture, and all the reliefs, we have not been able to select all the reliefs.
Okay.
Here it is Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, and all the reliefs with the humanitarians who served that particular part of the world. And the next one is the north wall. Okay, you have the Lord Buddha and Lord Mahavir. We have not been able to select any humanitarian set. We are in a process. And the last one is the Middle Eastern architecture. And you have the Star David on the right side and a crescent moon with a star on the left side. And all the landscaping will be particularly designed to suit that particular thing. And also the other questions people ask, how this building will bring the unity of humanity. Okay, that is another important question they ask. Here we have the global architecture. When people visit, they will be able to relate to that one or the other part of the architecture. And we have so many humanitarians, they will be able to relate to somebody from their particular region and other things. In addition to that, availability of the scriptures and the practices what we have. And the other one is able to appreciate the landscaping and other things, be able to see the plant wealth from around the world and all of those things. So by doing this, we feel, at least we feel oneness, because we are trying to represent the global variations in one center. And also I would like to say, this may be the first center of its kind, but this should not be the last center. We need this kind of a unifying centers in every city around the world. And we are, even though it looks like a very magnanimous and very big project, I always felt this is a project for the unity of humanity. When all the global people combine together and force the implementation, it is such a simple job.
Yeah, and we do see a picture of the monument for Mother Earth that you had mentioned before as well. Yeah, so the big question, Dr. Murthy, about where will this be and how far along have you come so far?
Yeah, so that is a very good question, because people need to know where it is. Originally, my thought was to build it in Orlando. Because of certain constraint and the difficulties and other things, we thought, we should build it as soon as possible. And the only place I could think of was India. So it is in a small town called Halegere. It is a town between Mysore and Bangalore. It is very close to the highway. So only 9 miles away from the highway. And also it has a highway from the major highway to the site. It has a highway also. So it takes about 10 minutes to travel in the car. And we do know there are at least about 5 to 6 million people visit Mysore and the Palace of Mysore every year. So because of the unique nature of the monument, unique concept of the monument, the sculpture, beauty of the sculpture what we have, and also the Mother Earth statue we have, and all of these things, will be able to attract the people, at least 25 to 50% of the people, if not all of them in later years, would be visiting this monument to appreciate and also show their respect to Mother Earth.
That is a wonderful concept. And when are you anticipating that it would be ready for to visit, actually?
Correct. So we embarked on this in 2019.
Okay.
So we were able to acquire the land and other things, and also register the corporation in India as a non-profit organization. And we were supposed to go in March 2020 to do the groundbreaking. Unfortunately, things happened at the domestic level. My mother-in-law broke her hip, so we had to stay here to rehabilitate her for 6 weeks. Unfortunately, then the lockdown due to COVID started all around the world. So I was thinking to go to India in June to start all of these activities again. But again, escalation of the COVID in India is happening. I just heard all the traveling from USA to India is banned.
Correct. Yes.
So that is
Yes.
what I
Yes.
heard. So hopefully nature will help us. Meanwhile, what is happening? I just finished talking to my architect. We are going to finalizing the architectural plans and the designs, so that we will have the shop drawings probably in about 3 to 4 months time. And then hopefully whenever the opportunity comes, we have to travel and then get the things moving. The timeline what we are thinking will be at least about 5 years from
Okay.
the start.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's a huge project. And again, as you mentioned, 2020, I don't think anybody's plans went as, thought in this world. So I do understand the, interruption there with your progress. However, this is a wonderful dream, wonderful vision that you have, Dr. Murthy. And, in the coming years, I hope the progress happens steadily. And also, I was wondering how you are managing with the finances now. And I believe you are also accepting donations from those who are interested to donate for this cause. And this donation goes towards some wonderful contributions to the community as well.
Yes, correct. So some of it goes to the monument, some of it goes to the management of the monument also. And as I said before, we will continue to provide the education and also the eye screening for the children, and continue to provide the cataract surgery for elderly people. So whatever the affordable capacity we will have through the foundation, that is the one. And then the scopefoundation.org will have the option for them to go on and donate whatever they would like. If they want to send the checks and other things, they also have it. The address, they can mail the check made payable. It is 100% tax deductible in the United States. In India, it is tax deductible, but because of the new changes, we have to reapply this month again to get the tax exemption. So they have the address, India address as well as the USA address. They can mail the check or they can send it through PayPal. So we appreciate all the support, not only monetary wise, but also any shilpis or the sculptures. If they have, they can give us the information through the website. My email is there and also the phone number is there. And also if they wait to volunteer, providing website management services, IT services, or helping to propagate or to disseminate the information, and trying to learn and then give a talk like I am talking, I will not be able to talk to the whole world. And this is a global project. It has to be spread for the sake of the unity of the people and also to help the children. We need to communicate school level, college level, and also adult level. When we can do that, we need a lot of people to join together, and then with the unity and the respect for the Mother Earth, we should be able to progress very fast. All the help we need, I would appreciate it and admire everybody who contributes their service as well as anything else.
I agree, Dr. Murthy. This is a wonderful project that you have embarked upon, and I wish you the very best. I wish Scope Foundation the very best, and I'm sure there are many kind-hearted people out there, humanitarians and people who are willing to put in efforts, time, and their money for such wonderful projects. So I hope they come in after hearing you here on our program. And we today on Earth Day, this is such a special program for us.
Correct.
Yes, so thank you. Appreciate you coming along and explaining about your wonderful foundation and your amazing ideas and thoughts, as well as you had mentioned before, the alternative methods for treatment that you apply with your patients. That was very fascinating to hear, and just makes us all believe that we can think beyond medicine, for treatment. So we have to think about these alternative methods as well. So appreciate you coming here today, Dr. Murthy, and sharing all these wonderful things with us. And would you like to share anything else before we end the program?
Okay. So finally, I would like to say the mind is the supreme controller of the body. So if we keep our mind really in a right place and a right way, so the body continues to work to the highest productivity. So if you do not practice active relaxation of the mind on a daily basis, the cluttered mind will continue to cry and produce the symptoms on the body. So take care of the mind, it will take care of the body. Mind is the engine for your body, and it is a very powerful agent what we have. And your practice will help you much better than medications. Yeah, that is a hope and request I have it for the audience.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. That was a very powerful message. I hope our audience members implement it. And as you mentioned before, which was one key takeaway for all of us, that even the busiest people, the big executives who may not have any time, if there is an added work that comes up in their work life, they are willing to spend that extra hour in a day.
Correct.
And why not take that seriousness, give that priority to our own health and well-being, and also for our mother earth, as we are discussing today. Spend that 1 hour every day, or if not, spend it every other day. Just start with smaller chunks, but please do make that effort. That is a big and important key takeaway, I think, from our program today.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Murthy. And as we come to the close of this program, I would like to share a few beautiful words that were shared by our Dayton temple, Hindu temple today for Earth Day. And that just seems very relevant to today's program. And they shared this verse from Bhumi Sukta. And I may not be able to read it as well as some of the scholars out there, but I will definitely give it a try. Vishwambhara Vasudhani Pratishtha Hiranyavaksha Jagato Niveshani Vaishwanaram Bibrati Bhumir Agnim Indra Rishabha Dravine no Dadhatu. That is the verse, and the meaning is so beautiful that I think many of us can understand better. Salutations to Mother Earth. She is Vishwambhara, all bearing. She is Vasudha, producer of all wealth. She is Pratishtha, foundation on which we live. She is Hiranyavaksha, and also the dwelling place of the world. She holds the Vaishvanara, which is the universal fire within her, the fire which empowers Indra and Rishabha. May the Mother Earth bestow on us the splendor of that fire and make us strong. These were beautiful words that were shared by our Hindu Temple of Dayton and the president, Hema Pandrangiji. And I just felt these were so relevant to the program today and the spiritual connection that you were talking about today, Dr. Murthy. So we have to think about our planet not just as a place where we are living, but as our mother. We have to take care of our planet as our mother, as Mother Earth. So salute to you for the wonderful work that you're doing through Scope Foundation. And we are so honored to have you today on our program, Dr. Murthy. We hope to continue this discussion and hope to welcome you and Mrs. Maitreya Murthy back to our program another time. Thank you so much for joining today, sir.
Thank you, Vijaya, and for selecting a very auspicious day and made it very unique. And all the time what you spent so much time preparing for this. I really appreciate your commitment. So, and excellent journalism.
Oh, thank you. It is an honor. And, as I mentioned when we were talking on the phone, I think when we are embarking upon such a positive note and such a wonderful journey, God will be blessing us. All the difficulties, challenges that come in our path, somehow they go away and we are able to reach that vision. So I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much, Mrs. Maitreya Murthy, for coming back. We miss seeing you on the screen for a little bit, but thank you for coming back here. And so very best wishes for both of you and your family as well. Please do convey our best wishes to Dr. Vivek Murthy and your daughter who helped us with the technical support as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vijaya.
Thank
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night to you. And to our viewers, I would like to say that I would like to remind you that during our life, we usually have plan B, as when we are having any decisions to take or anything to do, we usually keep plan B as an option. However, think about our Mother Earth, our planet. As Dr. Murthy mentioned, we do not have a planet B, at least as of now. So this is our planet A, the only planet. Please let us come together to take good care of our Mother Earth and support Dr. Murthy and his vision and help Scope Foundation reach its mission. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate all of your valuable time, and we do hope you'll continue tuning in for our future episodes. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Stay healthy, stay happy. We will see you with Please Connect for another cause.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and Adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sfurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.